passengers. All Spirit trains are experiencing delays due to an earlier incident. We appreciate your patience and hope you remain seated inside the car for your own safety.
Hey, this is Son of the Road Haunts, and today Spirit Halloween dropped a teaser. Now, I believe, just from a few things, I honestly think this was supposed to come out a little earlier. I think this was low-key supposed to be the halfway to Halloween teaser. I don't know, maybe that's a weird guess of mine, but because there are clues to like Silent and Deadly and stuff, I don't know. But that's besides the point. They released a teaser today, and I'm not as like, oh my god about it anymore because it came out like a few hours ago, so I've had time to think about it. But today, I will be talking about that. So, before we get into some of the more notable stuff, it in general gives us a good look at what I believe the theme will be. Well, no, not what I believe, because it is confirmed. It's been confirmed for months from shipping manifests and stuff that it's a subway. I've seen some people freaking out over this teaser, like, oh my god, it's a subway! But like, no, we've known that for a while at this rate. But we see what I believe are some theme pieces in it. I won't point them all out, but it looks pretty neat. A lot of live wires, which is nice. Love to see those. It's a little over the top and cartoonish to me, but I mean, who knows? We'll have to see in person what it looks like, but I'm definitely quite excited for it. Now, real quick, before we get into what we see, I kind of want to talk about what we hear, because I don't know, just why not? Number one, we hear a woman screaming near the beginning, which I believe this is an animatronic audio. Take a listen. So that's neat. Nothing too crazy there, but I think it's just a good sign because that would probably be a fairly eerie animatronic, you know, scary. Maybe it's for something like Backbend Bonnie, which we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, who knows? We also hear a subway announcement, which I don't think is referring to anything other than the theme. Although I honestly do think it might play in the theme, so that would be neat. We also hear a bunch of rat sounds, which is definitely referring to Sewer Rat, who, again, we'll get to in a bit. And you can also hear Silent and Deadly in it, but, like, he's out by now. I have him, so, like, we don't need to talk about that. Now, in terms of what we see, we actually see quite a bit. The first thing here is what I believe is Sewer Rat. I believe that we see a lot of other pieces of him in this teaser, but I'm excited for him. He sounds really cool from the things I've heard. I've heard he'll be a little similar to Howling Werewolf, so that would be pretty damn neat. But I'm picturing him very much being a humanoid rat, similar to Mangy Rat from Moore's Costumes a few years back. But he sounds he sounds pretty cool. I'm excited to see him. And something to mention as well, and this is just kind of weird, a shot in the dark, but I remember last year with a Carnival teaser, Spirit teased Ringmaster a lot, like used his audio throughout the teasers and stuff, and he was kind of the main character of the Carnival, almost, which low-key makes me think that this will be the main character of the subway, if that makes sense. Maybe that's just a dumb connection I'm drawing, I don't know. But hey, that's something that I personally find a little neat. Now, the next thing we have here in the teaser that of note is this newspaper from the Egg Harbor Herald saying giant rat found near sewer. Which, again, I think this is a sewer rat reference for sure. Already talked about that. But something else in this image that people find a little interesting is that Experimental Eddie is on this newspaper. And that makes some people believe that he may be returning. I can't really read what it says about him. But if that's the case, it would be a pretty cool return. I do have him, so it's honestly not something that I'd be like going crazy over. But I like him. I think he's a great animatronic, so if he does return, hey, that would be pretty neat. Now, next we see these hands reaching out just like over a ledge. And again, I believe these are Sewer Rat's hands. I don't know, just the dirt, the grime, everything about them, the nails. I think they belong to Sewer Rat, but honestly, it would look pretty cool if they belonged to anything else too. I don't know. But I really like the design of these hands. They're just long, gnarly, really cool. And because of their humanoid shape, they definitely reinforce my theory that Sewer Rat will be a humanoid rat. Next, we see what I believe to be the movement of a tail. And now that I realize it's kind of in chronological order right after we see the hands in this position. So say with me, this is another part of Sewer Rat. Now here we see the one and only electrified corpse, who I am excited by. Well, I'm very excited by, but I mean, I knew this was happening for weeks. In fact, I posted about it, so we knew this was happening for weeks. Some other people shared that, but, you know. Yeah, but low-key, he's probably the most excited I am about any prop from this year from Spirit. Just because he's from my first ever year getting into this stuff, 2016. I've wanted him ever since I saw him for the first time. And so I'm just really happy to see him, dude. I had an idea of how to use him in my display, and he's just so cool. I love him so much. I really want to get him. But he looks really good here. We can't make too much because it's overexposed and all, as like a lightning flash. But I feel like they made his facial forming a little better. He looks just a little more human. And so I really like that. If they did change up the face a little bit in order to just be more high quality, I love that. So yeah, I'm really excited to get this guy. Next, we have this, which I heard there would be something called the emergency activator this year. And I believe this is it. Just fully, I'm pretty sure this is it. So that'll be fun as a way to activate the animatronics. I'm excited to see how that'll be worked into the theme. Next, we have this creepy little hand that pops up, which looks very similar to something else we've seen in this teaser. So I'm gonna be loud for a second because, say it with me, Sewer Rat! Anyways, moving on from that, we have what appears to be this little panel, which definitely looks like it's gonna be part of the ISE because of how it's kind of 2D and stuff. I think I know where. I think I heard a little leak about that, but I don't know if I'll share that. But yeah, nothing too notable here. Looks pretty cool. Except in the corner, we can see the word terrifier. Which, a year or more ago, I would be absolutely tweaking over. But now that we've got Art the Clown last year, it's not the craziest thing ever. However, they came out with him last year. So the fact that we're seeing it now has me a little bit like, It makes me think that we may be getting another Terrifier prop this year. Which there are 3 ways this could go. Either another Art, which I'd be down for. A Pale Girl, which we've seen from Party City. So, I don't know. Party City one was really good. Don't know how Spirit would match up to that. Or Vicky, which I think is a little more possible. Either of those would be sick in my opinion. As I've said, I love Terrifier. So yeah, but Spirit has made 2 killer clowns in succession, and by that I mean killer clowns from outer space. 2 Pennywises in succession. So I could totally see this happening. I don't really see why else they would write it down, but hey, I mean that would be cool. Anyways, here we have this map of the train system, I guess. It just has some cute little references to other Spirit themes and animatronics. This will probably be in the theme, and honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, that would actually make this pretty cool if it's the full-on subway station. Yeah, cool to see. But yeah, as I said, there are some references to animatronics. There's an Elm Street, which is a little interesting, because even stuff like Myers Lane, for example, there's been a Michael Myers animatronic, so maybe there'll be a Freddy Krueger this year. I don't know, kind of random, but at the same time, Michael was random last year, so we'll have to see about that. But it also references Pumpkin Nestor, so is he coming back? I don't know. I'd say no. Because ever since 2023, my hopes for him returning have been dead in the Pacific Ocean. But I don't know. I mean, if he did, hey, that would be neat. But I kind of doubt that. But yeah, that's that. Next, we have a shot of a bunch of live wires, which, again, love to see the live wires in the theme. It's going to look really cool, I'm hoping. But also, something gets superimposed on this in the teaser, which I did a little bit of filtering. We can see 2 skulls and a skeleton hand. I believe these would just be pieces on a set, probably. But that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Make of that what you will. Next, we have some writing on a wall. What does it say? I don't know, man. I'm just happy to be here. Maybe it looks like it says meat or something? I don't know. Now, next we get another shot of the writing with a rat. But what's interesting isn't just the phone on the ground. Maybe just an ISE piece. Maybe something hint to a prop. I don't know. But in the top right, we can see what appears to be eyes. And the thing is, these flash in one of the, split flashes. Meaning, they're definitely put there intentionally. Whose eyes are these? I don't know. I've seen some suggestions, maybe the owl? Some of my online friends suggest it could be Hugs the Clown. Which I feel like there are good chances of him returning this year. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't really care for him personally. But I don't know, could be neat. It does look a little bit like him with like the yellow eyes, the dotted pupils, and the black makeup around. I don't know, I could see it, but make of that what you will. Next we have this signature that says Backbend Bonnie, I believe. That's what Derealist said to me. At first we thought this was Bernadette, which was the name in the shipping manifests. So maybe Bonnie is just the real name and the Bernadette is just the working name they had. I don't know, man. I just got here. But I just have to say, I mean, okay, I doubt they'd be different props. I think they're the same thing. But let me just say, Backbend Bonnie, I guess, is probably my first or second most hyped prop of the lineup. I'm really excited for her. Other than Electrified Corpse. And, a lot of others. I'm excited for this year. But, yeah, she sounds so cool, dude. I love the idea of a backbend prop, and I've also heard she's going to be a doll. Meaning, she's another human-sized doll, like Darling Dolly vibes. Ooh. I'm really excited to see her. Something tells me she's going to be scary as hell. Next, we have this guy. And this is a prop, for sure. But he is very interesting to me. I've seen, I mentioned him already in this video, but Derealist has mentioned maybe this will be a static prop. I kind of hope not, but his face looks to be latex. He definitely gives SVI vibes, so I hope he'll have some kind of animation. But he's this, zombie guy. I really like the hair. I'll say that. The hair looks really realistic. And he's quite unsettling, not gonna lie. Decently human looking, but at the same time, a little gnarly zombie-ish. Not as, over-the-top gory as some other stuff. But he's still pretty cool, I think. Maybe more of a traditional zombie, but yeah. I'm excited to see what this guy will be. I think he gives me old Spirit vibes for sure, which, by the way, let me just say, this year so far is giving me old Spirit vibes heavy. So all the people who say, Spirit sucks now, they're not doing anything unique or scary anymore, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Okay? As of recent, I know in 2022 I was of that belief, and hell, 2022 I did not like as a year very much. But man, I'll be honest, that line of thinking has just gotten me so annoyed recently. In the past few years, I think there's a ton of bias for Home Depot, but that's a tangent of mine. But point being, I think Spirit this year looks really cool. This guy looks cool. On to the next thing. Now, the last slide of importance to me is this picture. By the way, can I just say, I love the Subway sign in the background. It's so cool. That design got leaked a few weeks ago, but man, it's so simple but really cool in my opinion. But we see some slime, which we do see a lot of slime in this teaser, I'll say it. But I did see a theory that this could maybe be alluding to a Slimer animatronic. I mean, I don't know. We had the Ghostbusters trap. This theme is supposed to be set in New York. At least that's what it's themed after, and, slime. So honestly, the idea of there being a Slimer animatronic this year, the chances aren't zero. Plus, Halloween Costumes is making one, whatever that'll mean. So, we'll see what that looks like. Well, folks, that was the Madison Scare Station teaser from Spirit Halloween for 2025. This video was a lot longer than I intended to be. I'm sorry. I'm a talkative guy. But yeah, Spirit this year looks absolutely fucking peak. I'll say it. And I'm not just saying that. I genuinely think this looks like one of their coolest years ever. It has potential to be, so knock on wood. Other than the tariffs, thank you, Trump. Nice, great, gotta love that. Gotta love everything he's doing for America. Yay. Make America fascist again. Anyways, that aside, that was the video. Like and subscribe if you're new. And, well, I'll see you in the next one. Farewell.